Spell my name right, Citylyfe. Spell my name right. I'm buzzing under discussion and pressure and guessing subject to hope and around chat. Yo, welcome back to Life in the City podcast. We're running a little late today as I stumbled across some things that I had to take care of. Normally, our airtime is every Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but we're kicking it off just a little bit later, but I still wanted to make sure that I got this podcast in. We're right now live with Life in the City podcast, and today's episode is actually going to be titled 3D to 5D Dimension with City Life. And the conversation is going to be all about the topic of becoming your higher self, living your most highest vibrational purpose in life. And we'll be talking about ways that you can challenge yourself to do that while, just delivering on a higher level of intentions. So I appreciate you all joining me today for episode 7. Thank you so much. We'll go ahead and get started. So, if not many of you are familiar with the process of 3D to 5D dimension, it's a very big process to experience. When you go through elevation like that, it can sometimes be very difficult for some, very challenging, because you find yourself living as a hermit. You are in solitude a lot more often than what you generally would normally be in. Most regular conversations don't concern you anymore. So in other words, the interaction of daily socializing activities don't really concern you. You're more so concerned about your own personal development and the development of the world as well. It's basically referred to as the Great Awakening. And it's, in my opinion, happening all over our planet now. People are more focused on self-love. They want better health. They, challenge themselves to have high vibrational thoughts, more meaningful relationships. For me, it's all about the appreciation for nature. And I have like a strong passion for meaningful work and unconditional love, to be honest. And I was reading an article that talked all about this, as I started to really identify myself as someone who was experiencing this transitional phase in my life. And I was at first questioning, is there something wrong with me? Have I, gone into a situation of depression? But then I realized it wasn't about depression. It was just about the phase of the transitional experience I was going through to become a higher vibrational self. And in doing that, I found myself not really wanting to interact with social media activity, not going out. I used to be someone who was very well engaged with the public scene, and I would crave it. I would be like, it's time to get dressed, time to go out. And then in addition to that, I'd be ready to go shopping. You know what I'm saying? I'd be ready to spend my hard-earned money on the shiniest jewelry, accessories, clothing, you name it. In fact, none of the things that a hip-hop artist wanted was anything that I was missing in my life. As an example, I had a nice-sized home, beautiful cars. I probably would be quick to talk about how much cash I had, just to kind of just let people know, look, I'm not broke, but it's like most people who talk about not being broke don't realize how broken they are when it comes to being a higher self, a higher vibrational self, being your best self. And all while I had money, I was still broken as a person. I was still encountering bad relationships with people, not being as discerning as I should have been when it came down to the type of relationships that I chose to have in my life, which in return was causing me to stumble and fall and trip more than I wanted to in life, having to start over again and things like that. And it was difficult. And so I finally got to a point in my mind where I became a bit of a hermit. And in that hermit phase, I was in so much solitude that I began to just want to go on this journey to eat healthy. I wanted to be out in the nature. This is all still happening right now, by the way, guys. This has not changed. This is something that's happening right now. It's a phase that I'm going through where I really could care less who's bragging about what. And it's interesting to me too because I find myself getting super irritated when I see people bragging about the next thing that they did in their lives. Now, all while I don't see anything wrong with, you know, I guess talking about your wins, something that you've done in your life that's helped you get to that next phase in your life. But I also feel like there's a certain way you have to approach that. There's a certain way that you have to go about it rather than it just looking like you're just trying to brag and you want to just look like you're better than the next person. I think it's a certain way that you have to approach the situation nowadays. And, with social media and also being in the entertainment industry, they make it look like you got to have all this glorified things, materialistic things to show that you have some level of status. And in all reality, sometimes the most silent person is the most powerful person with more status than the person who's loud. The loudest person in the room usually doesn't have as much as the most silent person in the room. So I've chosen to actually have that awareness and, live my life fearlessly without caring about what the next person thinks. I don't care anymore. I just really do not care. The one thing that I do care about is my energy. I care about the wisdom that I'm gaining so that I could be able to help the world in the status that it's in. I feel like every hand that I shake, every person that I meet, I should be able to leave a good impression on them, good enough for them to walk away and want to do something nice for the next person that they meet or stumble upon. And then on top of that, as I'm seeing the world so differently now, I'm removing past suffering as well. And what I mean by that is I'm not as focused on my past traumas anymore. I'll talk about it a little bit here and there just so that I can help people understand what helped me to become stronger. But in terms of living in the past and allowing the past to haunt me and control the type of person that I'm going to be in today's world, it's just not going to happen. I'm just not going to engage in my past like that. But yeah, of course, I've experienced some trauma. There's trauma that I actually recognize has prevented me from doing certain things as an adult. And the moment that I've opened up my eyes to see exactly what's holding me back from becoming the best adult that I can be, I'm quickly at the table to revise those things. I just don't want to have anything that will be a hurdle or hindrance on my journey to become the best person that I can be. As resilient as I can, with little stress, no negative emotions. You let go of your negative emotions, you let go of your negative thinking, which is difficult to do sometimes for me because in the midst of it all, feel as though I'm very intuitive. And I also feel like I can tend to see things before they're going to happen. Not like a Cleo type of person where I'm just fortune telling and doing all those things, but that intuition that you have, the voice inside you that tells you that something's going to happen, and then before you know it, it actually does happen. Well, I think that does also have a lot to do with the thoughts and what we think of, because sometimes we can think things up, but at the same time, there's signs and there's clues that help lead you to being able to identify what's about to happen. And that's me. I'm straight in detective mode sometimes, where I'll see those things coming up and I'm just like, man, what do I do? You know what I mean? Like, do I listen to what this voice is telling me, or do I just go on casually without any type of negative thought? So that way I'm not impacted on my daily activities or what I have going on as a task on my agenda. So, those things are very difficult. It can be daunting to remove the negative thoughts, because if you feel something is going to happen, or you have clues of what's about to happen, or something that's going on in your life, again, you kind of are in that phase of thinking like, man, something's going to happen. So, for me, I definitely have been striving to try and get away from that, to strengthen the vibrations and the energy that I have on a daily basis, removing the ego from the picture. No egotistical ways in the equation of it. So, you know, um, when you start to awaken both your mental and physical body, it does receive a lot of beneficial changes. And those beneficial changes in return allow you not to have to focus on so many negative aspects of life. Therefore, you lead a more happy journey. And that's when true happiness is experienced and you begin to find balance. And what I'm doing right now to walk that path of a 3D to 5D transition is I'm removing the ego, I'm removing the negative thoughts, I'm removing the negative relationships. In life, not everybody's your friend. You'll have a lot of people that'll talk to you about being your friend, and they'll say that they love you and all these things. But when it comes down to something that you're doing that truly excites you, or a journey that you've embarked upon, where, maybe as an example, you're offering some type of new program to people in the world, you've generated a new business, that person will have yet to reach out to you to say, hey, I checked out your business, or I shopped with you, or you know what, I saw your advertisement on, your new business, and I really liked what you were doing. And here's what I checked out. This is what I saw. This is what I heard. And, they, as a friend, will break down exactly what it is that they appreciated about your new journey. It's, you got to be able to separate yourself from people who don't celebrate you. If they're not celebrating you, it's time to let them go. And that's something that I'm learning to do more and more. I still have a couple of chips that I need to let go of, pieces, broken pieces that I need to let go of. And slowly but surely, I'm approaching that avenue so that I can go ahead and readjust myself. But it can be difficult because I have such a good heart. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. But at the same time, that's when I end up going into hermit mode. I go into solitude, and I would just prefer not to reach out to very many people. It's usually only a select people that I will even interact with. And those individuals have to kind of have the same mentality that I have. They have to be walking the same walk, talking the same talk in some way, shape, or form for me to want to have that interaction with them. If I feel in the slightest way that we're not on the same journey, it does cause me to back up and distance myself. It's just one of those things that kind of comes with the territory. When you're in the 3D consciousness, you have an ego-based identity. The person generally is a victim. They don't really have, too much logical thinking. there's a denser energy, and your manifestations are slowed down, and the mind definitely rules, which is what I was talking about in terms of the negativity. Like, I am working on that so much right now, but I feel as though I'll be able to improve it the moment that I stop interacting with things that do not serve my higher purpose, things that bring me down or stress me out more than what I would want in life. Those are things I need to remove myself from in order to improve upon this transition. Otherwise, I'll continue to be slowed down. And, there's more chaos and just unfairness when you live in the 3D dimension. There's a scarcity mindset, basically. And for me, yeah, once again, that's just not what I'm looking to do. I want to be able to have a better mentality than that, Um, I don't know, man. It's definitely a trip how the 3D mindset works. And so, I just want to make sure that I bring these things to your attention so that, maybe I'll help someone go through the transition that I'm looking to go through right now to help them in their phase and in their journey with who they want to become. Because it's important that we focus on this transition to become the best self that we can become. You know, um, it's critical. It really is. You'll have a higher energy. You'll have better instant manifestations. Your heart will be on a whole different level with how you approach things. You have a soul based identity. There's a unity consciousness, which I'm huge on. You'll have unconditional love, you know, and then believing is seeing. And then you have intuitive thinking. And see, that all goes back to what I was talking about in terms of me being intuitive, because I'm super intuitive. But the thing about it is that it gets difficult to stay away from the negative thoughts. Um, when you are intuitive, you kind of have to dust your shoulders off and move in a different light, so that way you're not letting your intuition impact the way that you feel. And that's the biggest thing. That's like the hard part, right? So, yeah, I mean, just recognize what that transition looks like for you as an individual so that you can be able to self identify how you're going to live that journey in the best way that you can. It's very, again, important to be able to recognize that. And I had a song that I wanted to bring to your guys' attention this evening. I just had the beat playing, but it disappeared on me. So I'm going to try and see if I can bring it back. It might have disappeared for good, though. Let's see if we can find it here. Let's see if we can find it. Um, because as I mentioned to you before, you know, it's all about having fun for me. Being an artist is something that I love to do. So I want to have fun. I want to live my truth, all while exposing some real talent and, you know, just having a greater appreciation for life. You know, I guess I can use any beat technically. So, we'll do what we do just to have some fun here and kick it off. And if it doesn't go through, then it just doesn't go through, in terms of the lyrics. But yup. Salute to those that rock it, ascend and be on the onyx, keep shining and being polished. I know that I am a goddess from 3D to 5D to a status I will accomplish. Level up, making moves, power up like supersonic. Continue to keep it awesome. Be careful to keep it honest. I'm clearing out every problem. I'm forcing myself to solve it as I'm executing, using my brain for knowledge. You can still pay attention without cash in the pocket. Teaching from the mind of an artist is a power move, 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 move. Seeing from the eyes of an artist when I live my truth, 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 truth. Teaching from the mind of an artist is a power move, 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 move. Seeing from the eyes of an artist is a hey. Making business moves, there's no need to gossip. I've been wanting to speak the truth, I never needed a script. Through the eyes of this artist, each day is a gift. There's no need for me to floss when I'm just trying to live. It's light work from the darkness that I saw as a kid. Now I'm not saying examples for the kindness. The devil is super busy, but I'm stronger than him. Taking strategic steps so I don't stumble or trip. Teaching from the mind of an artist is a power move, 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 move. You know what I'm saying? It really is, though. Like, if you teach from the mind, it can be a wonderful, powerful thing, not just for you, but for anybody that you have as your crew, you know? So, making business moves, there's no need to gossip. I've been wanting to speak the truth, I never needed a script. Through the eyes of this artist, each day is a gift. There's no need for me to floss when I'm just trying to live. It's light work from the darkness that I saw as a kid. Now I'm out setting examples for what kindness is. The devil is super busy, but I'm stronger than him. Taking strategic steps so I don't stumble or trip. See, it's like, sometimes you can get tongue-tied, you know what I mean? Trying to really lay down the lyrics, it gets tough. But I enjoy doing this, and this is actually a freshly written flow for you guys this evening, right here on Ep7, Life in the City podcast. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you guys. 3D to 5G, you know what I'm saying? That's something that we all need to, again, try and grow into and really experience on our journey so that we can make a huge difference, not just in our own lives, but in the lives around us. You'll live a much more healthier life in terms of your immune system and everything, you know, because you start to focus on things that will allow you to love yourself. And then as you're loving yourself, you'll be able to love others. So, you know, do what you do and keep making moves. Make power moves, you know? Like I said, salute to those that rock it, ascending beyond the onyx, keep shining and being polished. I know that I am a goddess. From 3D to 5D is a status I will accomplish. Level up, make your moves power up like supersonic. Continue to keep it awesome. Be careful and keep it honest. I'm clearing out every problem. I'm forcing myself to solve it as I'm executing, using my brain for knowledge. You can still pay attention without cash from the wallet. Teaching from the mind of an artist is a power move, 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 move. Seeing from the eyes of an artist when I live my truth, 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 truth. Teaching from the mind of an artist is a power move, 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 move. Seeing from the eyes of an artist when I live my truth, 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 truth. I really appreciate you guys allowing me to live my truth. You know what I'm saying? Because if it wasn't for you, there would be no example for me to give, you know, to an audience that actually will be here to join in with me. And I just really appreciate the opportunity. It's a blessing to be able to offer insight, to be able to share my journey of enlightenment with you. And I'm hoping that you will grow with me from 3D to 5D. Be sure that you check out the website as well, citylyfemusic.com, CITYLYFEMUSIC. Don't be afraid to move from 3D to 5D. Life is definitely glamorous. It's fun, you know, and we can present ourselves in the most glamorous way. But keep in mind that that's not what life is all about. Life is all about living a journey of positivity, spirituality, and greatness with kindness. Love, peace, blessings, and light to you. Check out the website for the bundled package t-shirt and CD. You'll be able to cop DOAQ, Definition of a Queen, and Minority Stories, two of the most recent albums that I have out, or the last albums that I've presented to the world. I hope that you'll join me. I'm out. Peace, love, and blessings. City Life.
That I used to run with. talking about nothing. But it's cool, less is more, I'm counting that I don't blow up. But I plan to make it happen till I leave this place smoking. And you'll have to change your mind once I'm chosen. I just hope that it's wrote when you remember this slogan.
Right, C-I-T-Y L-Y-F-E